Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tyria then. This is episode 6. I am A Ron, the greatest warrior in Tyria, except not at all because I'm only level 15 and there are 20 levels and monsters can get even higher level. There's so many reasons I'm not the best warrior in Tyria. I also don't have an elite skill. I don't even have any good skills. I'm currently using crude swing, which is...
wow, really?
Yeah, that's a decision. So,
okay.
Yeah, welcome everybody to the show. With me, as always, is Miko.
Hello.
And
hi, everyone.
Yeah, it's us. We're back. 6 of these. Wow. Who thought we'd make it this far? Who thought we'd make it to Kryta? We're still in Kryta. We're not leaving. This episode starts and ends in Kryta. So get used to it. It's We're going to Lion's Arch. We're going to North Kryta Province. We're going back to Scoundrel's Rise, even though I don't think either of us wanted to do that. We ended up there. So that's kind of what we got on the docket for this episode. Miko, what has happened if you had to do like a 60-second recap of the Guild Wars 1 Prophecies storyline beginning to end, how would you describe it?
The Char blew up our homeland. We followed our prince. And he decided to have a fight with his dad. So we followed him into the mountains. And then he went and got himself killed. And so now we're in Kryta.
Damn, I gave you 60 seconds. That was like a solid 19.
There you go.
All right, we're all caught up. Yeah, we followed...
That's the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, we followed the prince. He is dead, despite our best efforts. So we've been DM railroaded into Prince Rurik dying. And we finished leading the Ascalonian refugees to Kryta. We finished what Prince Rurik started, right? We're good Ascalonians. We're patriotic. We kind of took Prince Rurik's place, but also not really, because... once we got the refugees to Kryta, we were like, I'm doing this stuff now, and you guys go your way, and I'll go my way. Except not completely, because this episode I think we checked in with the Ascalonian settlers in Kryta.
Yes.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. We completed the Gates of Kryta mission last episode, in which we basically had to pay the bill for entering the country by just killing hordes of undead. Kryta is currently plagued with inexplicable undead just rising and attacking anyone in sight. They're plaguing the countryside. And the White Mantle, who is in charge of Kryta, does not have a clue what's going on with them. Except maybe they do. Maybe we'll find out a little bit more about that this episode. Mm-hmm. And when we left off last episode, at the end of the mission, we were introduced to something called the Scepter of Ore. And we are introduced to a big, nasty, like Satan-looking dude called the Undead Lich.
He is undead, and he is a lich.
And the word lich, I don't think it has like a ton of context in Tyrian lore. Like, you know how in like Forgotten Realms, a lich is like, well, it's an undead, X, Y, and Z, and there's like a whole definition. It's just kind of a word in Tyrian lore. I think he's the only lich in any of the games. No, Palawajoko is a lich.
That's right.
So a lich is kind of just like a powerful undead spellcaster in Tyria. It's not super defined, but that's what we're up against. We don't really know that yet because we're level 15. And what level are you at the time of recording this?
15.
Yeah, I'm 15 too.
Yeah.
I was like, at the end of episode like 2 or 3, when I was like level 12, I was like, oh, I'm so over leveled. It's going to be so easy. I've barely leveled since that moment. The XP has slowed down to a trickle.
Yes, but there are some meaty quests out there.
Yeah. So did you before we jump out into the side quests, we spawn into LA after we find out that the undead are after the Scepter of Ore. The White Mantle still have it. They're running it to the Temple of Tolerance, to their like leaders. And we're going to catch up with that near the end of the episode when we talk about the mission that we did. But before that, we're going to kind of explore Lion's Arch, explore Kryta, and do some side quests. So you spawn into Lion's Arch at the end of the mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like run around Lion's Arch and see what there was to see?
I did. I love Lion's Arch.
Yeah, how was it?
It was pretty cool. It was good to be back in proper Lion's Arch from Guild Wars 1. So for those of you who may not have played Guild Wars ever, Lion's Arch in the original game, it's a seaside, sort of a port town, and you can encounter people from other lands who have docked their ships and are trying to ply their trade.
Did you talk to Jaiju Tai?
Yeah.
What an asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, you mentioned that it's like a port town. It's not just a port town, it is the port town.
The port town,
and
yes.
if you talk to this Canthan lady named Jaiju Tai, she'll tell you, you can ask her like, well, why Lion's Arch? And she's like, dude, Lion's Arch is the only business in town.
Right.
Ascalon's a burnt out husk. Ore sank into the ocean, which I don't know when the first time we learned that ore sank into the ocean is, but I think in my playthrough, this is the first time I learned that information.
Yes, I think that is correct.
Yeah.
You start hearing that from NPCs that you interact with.
Yeah, we hear it from several sources this episode, but when this like random sailor lady told it to me, I'd like to think my character was just like, wait, hold up, what?
Yeah.
And a whole nation sank into the ocean. So that's a really interesting bit. And then she's got some quests for us too. But yeah, I really love the Kryta vibe. I've been talking for the last few episodes about how much I love the Kryta vibe of like Caribbean on the beach.
Yeah.
There's like fishermen chill. There's like super chill fishermen just like hanging out with their nets.
Mm-hmm.
There's fire, like little beach fires. It looks like a fucking party in Kryta.
Yeah.
Circa 1025 AE.
Right.
Not 1020, 1070. 1325 for Guild Wars 2. 1070 for Guild Wars 1. I think.
1070? Yeah, you know what? I was doing, I talked to some podium people, as we do in this game, and somebody mentioned a year, and I was like, in the year 1062, the Char invaded all 3 human kingdoms, and this is what one of the White Mantles tells us.
Yeah, and I think that means the third guild, because this is the third Guild War. I looked it up on the wiki between episodes. Mm-hmm. It's the third Guild War, is the most recent one that we spawned into the game during, and I guess that's an 8-year-long war then.
I guess, yeah.
Because I think it's 1070, right? Current year.
I would be a better podcaster if I knew this. I will wiki quickly.
I think it is. It's between 1062 and 1070 something. But yeah, we learn a lot of information that kind of contextualizes where we are in the movement of the world. In this episode, a lot of people have a lot of stuff to say to us about the Crichton portion and the Orion portion of the Guild War, whereas we only really experience the Ascalonian portion. And the podium guy at Delesio's Seaboard is the primary person where we can learn like all that from. And all that is super relevant to the bonus mission pack mission, which I think we're going to do next episode, now that we have a kind of contextualized, cohesive version of events of what happened directly after the searing in other parts of Tyria. So yeah, I was running around LA. I noticed that the Lion Guard still exists in Guild Wars 1.
Yes.
The Lion Guard are like a big kind of the local sheriffs for Kryta in Guild Wars 2.
They're not in Guild Wars 1. They're not fond of the White Mantle.
No, because they actually preclude the White Mantle.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk to First Watch Sergio?
I did.
Yeah, he tells us all about how the Lion Guard was who protected Kryta before the White Mantle kind of took power under the previous regime, and that the White Mantle kind of still allows them the honorary position of protecting the city of Lion's Arch.
Yeah. He seemed a little, like his texts read a little disgruntled to me.
He's a disgruntled citizen. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that, behind the scenes, like, is kind of against the current regime, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a political malcontent, is how I would describe him.
Right.
First watch, he's a ringleader of. He's got pamphlets that he distributes in the nighttime, right? He has Lion Guard soldiers do graffiti on First Watch Sergio's orders. So he's kind of, he doesn't like the White Mantle because they took over from the old monarchy, right? And they're kind of a religious cult, and they have created a theocracy, more or less.
Pretty much, yep.
And their gods don't even have names. They're just the unseen ones.
The unseen ones.
Yeah, that's the worst name for a god ever.
Yeah.
Would you buy into the unseen ones?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how powerful the people who were trying to force the unseen ones down my throat might be.
Well, I mean, the game kind of makes us buy into the unseen ones. Yeah. We don't really have a choice.
Well, it's kind of funny, though, because, like, did you run into any of the, and this is sort of skipping-ish ahead, the Crichtons out in North Crichton province, they seem a bit torn. Like, you run into some who are not down with the unseen ones and are clearly still worshipping the Five, because it is the Five in Guild Wars 1. And then there are others who are just kind of like,
right. Did you do
we're not really cool with the old gods. They're kind of useless.
Yeah, no, I talked to there's a quest called Duties of a Lion Guard, followed up by Bandit Trouble. And we learn a little bit about the kind of outlying villages and their opinions on the unseen ones versus the old pantheon, which is known at this point in history as the Five Gods. Yeah. We have the Six Gods in Guild Wars 2, so we'll, as the games unfold, we'll kind of what happened there. Yeah. We'll learn about that a little bit. And then as I was walking around Lion's Arch, I noticed that the whole just vibe feels very, not ancient, but old. Yeah. Right? Like the stone is kind of weathered. It's a bit yellowed. Yeah. There's moss growing everywhere, right? Feels like an old city. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what vibes they were able to convey with such limited graphical capability. Yeah. Lots of like beige yellowing stone with moss everywhere. There's the titular arch, right, visible in the bay. That where the city gets its name, Lion's Arch, from. And then, did you notice that every Crichton NPC, and I checked, like, it's like no joke, all of them have face tattoos. Yeah. Face tattoos are like a part of Crichton culture. Yeah. Guild Wars 2, what happened to face tattoos? Yeah. Explain this to me.
Well, I mean, you kind of get them, but not with the Crichtons.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why doesn't Queen Jenna in Guild Wars 2 have face tattoos?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how Crichton culture changed over the 250 years.
Did you meet a guy named Dermond in Lion's Arch?
Oh my gosh, I forgot to look for him.
You didn't meet Dermond.
Dermond, no, I forgot to look for him.
So there's a, for listeners who are maybe not as tuned into the overarching lore and story of Guild Wars and just the world, right? There's a faction in Guild Wars 2 called the Dermond Priory. They're one of the main kind of factions that you can align yourself with. And this guy Dermond, who we find standing in Lion's Arch in Guild Wars 1 all these years ago, is the founder of the Dermond Priory. So
he's pretty cool.
And he's basically the podium guy for the bonus mission pack missions. Yeah. So we're gonna be talking to him next episode when we take a look at the bonus mission pack content, because there's a very, very cool bonus mission, probably the best one actually, that's related directly to the information that we're learning in this episode. So he's hanging around, and then I went over to the dock, obviously, and Jaiju Tai is there. She's Canthan. Have we talked much about Cantha?
We have not.
Where's Cantha?
Cantha is south.
Yeah, that's basically what she tells you, because you can ask her where Cantha is, and she's like, so it's south of here, and it's south of there, and then it's also south of the place after that, and even more south.
Yes, it's south of everywhere.
Yeah, and she's like, she says that she's mistress of 7 merchant fleets. It's kind of a aggrandizing title for like, I run shipping concerns for the Canthan Empire, right? It's not. Right. I'm mistress of 7 merchant fleets. Jaiju, we're gonna learn about how much of an asshole Jaiju Tai is.
Yeah.
But she has a quest. She has a couple quests, I think. It might just be one. She has the Weaver of Nebo, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And does she have another one? Is it just that one?
She has Menlo's request if you have factions.
Right, and I did not take that because I know it messes with the Ascalonian settlement quests.
Yeah, so I didn't take it.
Yeah, and we're going to be creating new characters for factions in Nightfall, so we won't be taking these characters over to those campaigns. So those quests might be remaining unfinished.
Yep.
I guess you could cheekily do them for like XP. I think they're worth like 1,000 XP each.
Right.
Something to consider if you're feeling underleveled, which in the coming episodes we might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Ascalon, it's really easy to massively overlevel yourself and make everything piss easy. And then I'm starting to struggle a little bit. Although the mission this episode, pretty easy.
Yeah, it was. I
remember it being really hard.
Yeah, I did as well.
And then I went in like really prepared to be like tactical. And I didn't need to be. The only difficult thing was the bonus, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took her quest and I took a bunch of other quests. And yeah, she's the one that lets me know first that ore has sunken into the sea. And she also mentions when she's talking about like who in Kryta they can trade with and why it's only Lion's Arch. She just says dwarves, quote, don't appreciate imported goods.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what that means, but it sounds prejudiced.
Yeah, well, I mean, we met Dagnar Stonepate, and he's pretty unappreciative of humans.
Do you think the Canthans have only ever experienced the Stone Summit dwarves, and they don't actually know that there's nice dwarves?
I wonder if they never even got over, because if you have to go through from Kryta across the northern Shiver Peaks, you're going to basically run into Stone Summit first.
Exactly, yeah, and we know that the Dredge, which we haven't learned about yet, but they're mole people in Tyria, spoiler alert, have a presence in Cantha, and they're enslaved by the Stone Summit dwarves in Tyria. Again, spoilers for later. Maybe words got around, and that's just what people in Cantha think dwarves are like.
Right.
Because, yeah, the Stone Summit are extremely xenophobic, right? Theory... Yep. Canthans don't realize there's nice dwarves.
Yeah, maybe they've never met the Doldrumor dwarves.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did you talk to Bodris, the outfitter? The merchant?
Yes.
He has a quest.
He does.
What's his quest about?
His quest is Merchant's Plea.
This is a quest that I vividly remember always having in my quest log and never having completed.
Right, and then wondering, what is this strongbox in my quest for, in my inventory for?
Bingo, yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then when finally deciding to clear out my quest log and do it, I find I deleted the strongbox and I had to abandon and retake the quest.
No.
Yeah. So this is our first kind of quest that's attached to the Ascalonian refugees that we've escorted into Tyria. And he basically has a deal with Captain Greywind for supplies. So they've purchased supplies from him by like courier or mail order. I don't know.
Yeah.
They bought a mail carrier in the gem store.
No gem store in this game.
Yeah, and they purchased us on the gem store and we have to take their supplies. Yeah, so we gotta run his supplies to the Ascalonian settlement to Captain Greywind. Captain Greywind was the main quest giver for Yak's Bend. He's part of the Ascalonian army, and he has kind of taken over leadership of the refugees. So we've talked to him before. Mm-hmm. So we need to go out and do that. Did you head over to the Ascalonian settlement to take those supplies?
Well, that was my intention, and then I ran into
everything else.
Yeah, Damaris or Damaris, who is out there trying to just have a pleasant conversation and saying, "Hey, I will lead you to the Ascalon settlement, or I'll tell you the way." because she's trying to convince Menlo, Sin, Aiden, and Devona.
I've just referred to them in my notes and will be so going forward as the gang.
The gang, yes. So it's the gang. And poor Damaris of the Crichton contingent is basically trying to explain to them how they need to get there. And Sin is giving her the business.
Yeah, she says, quote, "The rude woman keeps interrupting me."
Yes.
Which is very funny. That's Sin's, like, one personality trait is that she's rude.
Yeah, yeah. I found it hilarious that, like, Menlo and Devon, well, the rest of them, they're all just like, Sin, can you please stop being a jerk and let the nice lady, like, just do her job?
Yeah, and Devona is like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, hi, we actually are trying to make a new life for ourselves here in this country. We're foreigners. We're not at home anymore. Please stop.
Yeah. So she turns to us and she's like, can you help me?
Yeah.
She's like, are you their supervisor? Can I speak with you?
Yeah.
So she asked to speak with Sin's supervisor. So we pick up the phone and we're like, hello, this is A Ron with Ascalonian Refugee Services. How can I help you?
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, can you take these dumb shits to the Ascalonian settlement? So it's now our job to shepherd the youngins, the gang, up to the Ascalonian settlement. And this is great because they're all level 16.
Yeah.
I should have, so I didn't. The idea occurred to me, but I didn't want to like work around it. But it would probably be a good idea to do every quest in North Kryta province before handing this quest in.
Oh, yeah.
So that you can have them with you.
And yeah, because they're kind of like the soldiers that you had to escort to, who was it? Gate guard Hollis.
Oh my god!
You around.
Yeah.
Except that these guys actually fight,
and they're a level higher than me.
And they're yeah. They don't have wooden swords. They have actual weapons.
Yes, they do, and fireballs. And Menlo at level 16 ain't a bad healer either.
No.
Lots of very powerful monks that keep me alive in this episode. And while we were in LA, I did buy myself a new hammer. So I'm hitting stuff very hard. There is no better armor available in Lion's Arch at this point.
I noticed that too, and I was like, "What? I don't remember this."
Because you're literally going to be level 12 plus getting to this area. Enemies' difficulty is increased significantly. Why is there no better armor?
Yeah, I had remembered that in my first playthrough, I had gotten better armor at Lion's Arch. So now I'm wondering, I'm like, did I just like roll up to Lion's Arch in starter gear? What was I doing before?
They have new armor skins at the armor vendor. So warriors now have access to wyvern armor, which is possibly the ugliest armor in the game.
I didn't even know that wyvern, like the wyverns of Guild Wars 2.
Do you say it wyvern or wyvern?
I mean, that was the eternal question when Heart of Thorns came out.
I've always been a wyvern guy.
Yeah, I was a wyvern and then I got converted.
You got converted to wyvernism?
Yeah. But I didn't even realize that wyverns were a thing.
It's just called that in the armor window. I don't think there's a single wyvern in Guild Wars 1.
So what does the armor look like?
It looks it's very boxy. It has like paper thin lines all over it. Like imagine a pinstripe suit, but with like 10 times the stripes, right? And the helmet, it looks like a bad cosplay prop. Looks like it's made out of a bucket that someone like glued horns to. It's terrible. It's really bad, and I don't like it, so I shan't be buying it.
Right.
I'm gonna stick with my skinned char armor with the eyes, with the yellow eyes still in the head.
Oh my god.
That's Aaron's. Listen, Aaron is fresh out of Ascalon. Okay.
I mean, yes.
There's he's proud of his heritage, and he's had to slog through some horse shit to get here. So he wears the deceased char head on his head very proudly. Yeah.
There you go.
I think Miko is still wearing just like leather armor, right?
No, I think I have like fur armor or something. Crichton, I don't even know.
Okay, so we're both decked in like the skins of our enemies.
Yeah.
Let's call it the skins of your enemies.
Yeah.
Even though for a ranger, I think that's kind of naughty.
Probably. It's funny because I was like, we were playing through the Shiver Peaks, I was like, well, it's probably a good thing that this character's got like fur-tipped armor, because at least she's probably warmer in the cold. And now that I'm in Crichton, I'm like, aren't you hot?
I noticed in your videos that your character has like a little hood and she's like bundled up.
Yeah, because I have my full account, so I went and got the festival hood made from like a winter's day.
The hat guy.
Yeah, from the hat guy. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be rocking a hood over because it's cold in the mountains.
Nice, yeah, no, that makes sense. I like that roleplay.
I mean, it's I got an RP, you know, it's the thing.
I entered the mountains completely covered in fur, so I was good to go.
Yeah, I mean, you got the good char on you.
A Ron must have been sweating like gallons on a daily basis in old Ascalon. You imagine first of all, he's always jogging. He's never not jogging, and he's usually fighting, swinging like this hammer he's got has to weigh like 45 pounds. Pretty all much. Right, and he's swinging it constantly. Mm-hmm. The amount of food this man must have to eat to keep from sweating out his entire body weight to death on a daily basis. I'm starting to poke holes in the fabric of the MMO reality, and probably need to dial it back. Did you notice the giant boxy construct standing directly outside the Lion's Arch portal?
You mean Mox?
I mean Mox.
Yes.
Did you Mox?
I was like, oh my gosh, it's Mox! And I refrained from talking to Mox.
So, is Mox now a hero in your party?
No.
So, Mox has been added to my hero roster because I did go up to him and talk to him because I was like, oh, I'll just talk to him. Turns out if you talk to him, he is now yours.
Yeah, that's why I didn't talk to him, because I was like, I thought we were going to do this with henchmen.
Yeah, no, I'm not using Mox. He's available to me. I have not used him. Okay. I will be cutting out all the footage in which I use Mox. No, I have not used Mox. But yeah, I didn't know that I would. And he doesn't even say anything. You just have him now.
Yeah.
There's a whole quest chain. We'll may or may not do it later. I don't know. We'll see if it's feasible. But yeah, so there's a big. I don't even think we know what a golem is at this point in our.
No, because I think he's actually connected to Eye of the North, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's connected to Guild Wars Beyond, actually.
Right. So yeah. So
like
that's
post Eye of the North.
Right. So I was like, I'm not talking to you because you'll become a hero, and also we're supposed to be focusing on the Ascalon.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? So I can't talk to you.
It's kind of jarring, like him standing, because he has nothing to do with anything, and you're just like, what the hell?
I think it's because you've bought the expansions and added them to your account.
Yeah, it is. Because there's like all the NPCs for the expansions in the town, like Len Calderon for Eye of the North, and some Lion Guard guy for Nightfall, and Jaiju Tai for Cantha. Yeah. So there's all these expansion things that we're kind of ignoring for now. But it was like jarringly comical. The game like running its 2005 quest lines and then Mox standing there, the size of a house.
Pretty much.
And also that quest to take the gang up to the Ascalon settlement. Did you know that was added post-release?
Really?
Yeah, it was added in an update in 2005, like shortly after the release of the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think they added some like the gang content to kind of integrate those characters more. Because we were mentioning in the earlier parts of the game how they didn't feel super integrated.
Yeah.
So I think we might see a little bit more of them going forward. Or we may not. I don't know. I truly don't remember how prevalent they are or are not. I know they become henchmen in the final sections of the game. When we get max level henchmen, I think is when they join the roster. Yeah. Did you when on your way to the so did you do all the like other quests before going to Ascalon settlement?
So I did let's see. I went and talked to Miraba. Miraba.
Miraba. Yeah,
Miraba.
You could definitely say it, Miraba, but it sounds unflattering.
Yeah,
So
it does. Yeah.
I think she'd prefer to go by Miraba.
Right, because Lion-Guard Riddick is the one who gives you the quest to go and find his buddy Lion-Guard Orin.
Good old Vin Diesel, just standing there by the gate.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's like, oh my god, complaining that he has to like stand there and guard the gate. And I'm like, bro, you got one job. And so he's complaining that Orin isn't there, that he's basically abandoned his guard duty.
To talk to his crush.
And right, and I bet he's off romancing her. And so you have to go and find him, but you don't find him, you find her.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have very flattering things to say about Orin.
Orin's a degenerate.
Yeah, he's basically a deadbeat.
Yeah. And
basically a drunkard and a gambler.
I think what I like most about this quest line is that we never find Orin.
I know.
He's some degenerate deadbeat who's just like, who the fuck knows where he is?
Yeah.
He's probably like, face up in a tavern somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, or like in a ditch or in a river. I mean, who knows? She's like, he's probably off avoiding his debtors. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, the local like Etten mafia may have clubbed him to death. You know the Ettins are in on some shady shit. There is so much shady shit going on in Kryda. Half of it is by the presiding theocratic government.
Yeah.
Kryda's fun, guys. It's real fun. I went and talked to her too. And she basically says that she doesn't think he'll ever change. And then she mentions that and we just turn in the quest. Like, she's like, I don't know, he sucks. And that's like the end of the quest.
Pretty much, yeah.
But she has a follow-up quest.
She does. Yeah, and that's bandit trouble.
And do we ever see any bandits in all of Kryda?
I have not run into one bandit yet. So I'm like, no. What are these bandits?
So, like, there are bandits in some of the further out areas. Like, if you go out to... If we were to do... So there was a quest that we both decided not to pick up called The Villainy of Galrath.
Yes.
Because it's real hard, and it's not that we're too low level. A group of level 15 players could do this. The henchmen are too low level.
Yeah, it's the henchmen. Yeah,
so we need to wait until we get to an outpost with higher level henchmen to try that quest.
Yep.
But if you go out into those areas, there are some bandit type enemies.
But the hilarious thing is that Miraba, is that what we decided we're going to call her?
I believe so.
She says that the bandits are raiding the area, aka like her area, is what I took that as, and I'm like, where are the bandits around you? Because they're all I see are fire imps.
Yeah, dude, I think the fire imps are in on it.
Oh.
Well, I'm just saying, in pre-searing Ascalon, what's the only skill that the bandit fire starters have? Flare. Yeah. I think I'm seeing a connection.
Oh, maybe.
I think bandit fire starters are shapeshifters. Oh. Yeah, the fire imps are up to something.
Okay.
There's a reason we get a pet fire imp if you type /bonus in pre-searing,
yes.
Okay?
This is true.
This theory doesn't hold any water and doesn't go anywhere, but it's started.
Yeah. I mean, I'll buy it for now.
Somebody craft it for me. I don't have the time to do so on my own. I'm too busy.
But the hilarious thing is, too, is like she's not, like she is the one who tells us that she thinks that the Lion Guard are worthless.
She does.
Essentially.
Yeah, because her only impression of it is Riddick and Orin, who she refers to as, quote, louts.
Louts.
Which is a great medieval insult.
It is.
Big fan of lout. I'm also a big fan of knave.
Yeah.
So I hope we've got one lout. I hope a knave pops up in the game dialogue in this. I'll not hold my breath, though.
I mean, you could go play Genshin Impact. There's a knave in that one.
There's knaves in Genshin?
Well, there's a character that's referred to as the knave.
I'm gonna have to go sign up.
There you go.
They got that dialogue that I like.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so she doesn't trust them, and she's like, "Hey, can you go and tell the White Mantle over at Delesio Seaboard that there are bandits raiding over here? Because they'll actually do something about it. Unlike these Lion Guard."
Oh, how wrong she was.
Slurkers. I know.
Did you find it interesting that she asked you to go over to the garrison at Delesio Seaboard rather than going to like Lion's Arch, the main city, where there's probably a lot more soldiers?
Well, if she doesn't trust the Lion Guard, then why would she send us to Lion's Arch?
Do you think there's no White Mantle soldiers in Lion's Arch at all?
No, man. I mean, did you run into any White Mantle?
Well, it doesn't let you go in. It doesn't let you go in the keep. You know there's White Mantle in the keep.
Yeah. Probably.
They just got. I'm just saying, Miraba maybe needs to knock on the door and let the unseen ones into her heart. Okay. She needs to let the unseen ones in.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there.
All right.
But yeah, the White Mantle garrison is in Delesio, so I think you might have a point there, right? I think the idea is the White Mantle garrison their soldiers outside the city to avoid conflicts with the Lion Guard, because they ain't nobody got time for that, right?
Right.
So yeah, we now have to go see Knight Korea at Delesio Seaboard for 2 quests, because did you grab the quest from Armin the Guide in Lion's Arch?
Yes, I did. Because that's our primary quest.
That's our primary quest. Yeah, we need to report. He says we need to report our presence officially.
Officially, right. I'm like, how many more official, like, declarations of, hey guys, I'm here.
Like,
do we have to make in this country?
Justiciar Hableon, like, one of the, 3 leaders of the White Mantle, knows I'm here. He, signed my papers.
Yeah.
How much more official?
Stamp on my visa.
But I need to talk to Knight Karia.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Yeah. So we need to go do that. We'll follow up with that later. I turned these quests in at the same time, but for the purposes of bandit trouble, Knight Karia indicates that he'll send some dudes to look into the bandit issue.
Yeah.
But he also gives us a token of Janthier.
Yes.
What is Janthier?
Dude, I forgot.
We don't really know yet.
No, we don't. We don't know yet. I remember it comes up later in the game.
We're gonna find out next episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't. If you look on the map, I believe there's a section labeled the Isles of Janthier.
Yes.
In the far northern parts of Kryta.
Mm-hmm.
We won't be going there in Guild Wars 1. Don't get your hopes up, guys.
No.
But Guild Wars 2 has some stuff up there.
Yes, it does.
So in the far future, in 2034, we'll be heading to the Isles of Janthier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we don't really know what Janthier is now. He just gives us a token of Janthier and says it will grant the village the protection of the unseen ones.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the hell that means.
Yep.
And Miraba basically says, thanks.
Yeah. She's like, oh, a token.
Yeah, exactly. She's very underwhelmed.
She's like, her dialogue cracks me up. She's like, I think I was hoping for a little more night and a little less mantle out of Kelly. I was like, wow.
I remember liking that dialogue too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miraba is, I think, the most sensible person in Tyria.
She is definitely a sensible. She's spicy. I like her dialogue.
Yeah, she's very sensible, very spicy. 10 out of 10 NPC, Miraba.
For real, yep.
Yeah. And we get, she takes the symbol, she's like, thanks, I guess. Lame, but thanks. And then we,
she's like
we get our quest reward.
Pretty much.
And then, was there any more quests that did not relate to, I guess, the Weaver of Nebo from Jaiju Tai?
That Jaiju Tai gave us, yeah.
Did you do this quest?
I did.
So Jaiju Tai, the Canthan lady at the docks, who's a dick, she's not happy with...
She's shady, but we don't know that when we first meet her.
So I was writing these notes as I was reading her dialogue. Yeah. And, when I get to the villagers, I write a note down that just says, as I suspected, Jaiju is an asshole.
Yeah. So when you first interact with her, she's like, what trouble these Chrytons are. I went out of my, she's doing I've done so much for you guys. I went out of my way, a virtual act of charity to support the poor craftsmen of Nebo Village. And I was like, wow, okay, so she's like doing this out of the goodness of her heart or something. And she's like, all I asked was for a small quantity of linen. And I was like, oh, all right, cool, linen. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing to expect from some, weavers. And so she asks you to go and get her linen from Etham, right? That's his name? The artisan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fulfilled my end of the bargain, she says, but they repaid me with shoddy goods.
Yes, and, she's very critical of the crafting quality, and tries to play it off like she kind of did this out of the goodness of her own heart.
Right.
Funded their crafting endeavor.
Right.
We get to the village and we realize that not only has she demanded repayment for the loan she gave them way too quickly, she's raising the interest rate on it daily.
Yeah.
Daily interest increases.
She's a loan shark, basically.
Yes.
We find out from Etham is that she is basically extorting them for money that she lent them to rebuild the village after a bandit attack. So here's some bandits.
And I feel bad for our part in this quest, because Jaiju, what she asks us to do is just, hey, get me a meeting. Get me a meeting with the people from the village. We can talk about it. I think Jaiju Tai is going to kill these villagers.
I know.
Because it's like, or at least like break their legs, right? Like you said, she's a loan shark, and we just set up a meeting with these poor defenseless villagers.
Etham has like the best. He's like, Jaiju Tai is a jackal, and I was like, damn, okay, she's a jackal.
Yeah, he's going for it right out of the gate.
And I was like, wow, okay, so that really did escalate very quickly, and I'm kind of here for it. Yeah, she's a jackass.
And Etham is one of these guys that's a rare material trader that's just out in the world. And I think this is great, because Etham has a very good reason to be a material trader, because he needs to raise money to pay off his massive crafting debts.
Yes.
So this is actually this is great. This is cohesion. Yeah. This is narrative cohesion with the gameplay right here. I love this.
This is good.
So yeah, this is a funny quest, but also like kind of depressing.
Yeah.
Because I think we've just doomed this poor. There's like 4 people that live at this village.
Right.
And I think at least 2 of them who go to this meeting are going to be killed.
Yeah.
Or falsely imprisoned, indentured maybe.
I know, it's kind of like, you get sent in as like the heavy for like the mafia. And it's like, well, wait, maybe we were supposed to take them out, and I don't want to. Like
in a single player RPG, there would be an option to go to bat for the villagers and like break Jaiju Tai's legs. But in the MMO, we're like, I need XP, so I will do this horrible thing for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we arrange a meeting, and we don't really get to find. I don't know if there's ever a follow up for this, but we don't really get to find out what happens.
No.
We just set up a meeting with Jaiju and the villagers, and we get XP for it.
Yep.
And it's measly. It's like 500 XP.
Yeah.
And then we do talk to Etham again for a quest involving the Ascalon settlement. Did you do a quest from Lion's Arch called Orion Excavation?
I'm looking at my list. No.
Did you talk to my main man, Magi Malaquire? Main man, Magi Malaquire.
No. I had him on my list. Why didn't I talk to him? I can't remember why I didn't talk to him. I think I was going to save him for later.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a really interesting quest. If you're going to do it next episode, we can talk about it next episode.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a cool quest. It's got like implications in it.
Oh, okay.
And if you do it, you get a signet of capture.
Sure. Oh, yes, I saw that, and I was like, do I want some elite skills?
Well, I don't think we can capture any elite skills in this area of the game.
Right.
But you can save it for later.
Yes.
Because
are always great.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have them because they cost money.
They do, and they're not cheap.
No, if you have a fully like unlocked account, they cost a platinum each.
Yeah.
Because you probably burned all your low cost skill buys already.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
so
my skills are getting a little expensive because I did pick up a few more at some point in this playthrough for today.
I can't find any good skill. Like First Watch Sergio is he's the leader of the Lion Guard, by the way. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I thought he was just like the ranking guard on duty, but he's like the full blown leader of the Lion Guard.
He's the First Watch.
Yeah, I guess First Watch is like a big deal. So he's the skill trader, and I perused his list of skills and found nothing.
I picked up some that I was like, that could be useful later. That could be useful later.
Yeah, because you can adapt your build depending on what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good idea. And then we talked to... So we'll talk about Orient Excavation a little later. And then we talked to Armin the Guide to get our primary quest, which was to go to Delesio. And I think that's most of the things I picked up in Lion's Arch, the city. And everything else that I did was related in some way to the Ascalon settlement.
Yeah, same.
On your way to the settlement, did you run into fire imps?
Yep, I sure did.
So, tell us about fire imps.
They are looking like imps, and they have crackly black skin with little bits of orange. And they give this little high-pitched hee-hee when they pop up at you and start shooting their fire skills at you.
It's an extremely, recognizable soundbite.
Oh my gosh.
They both look and sound like gremlins.
Yeah.
Like 100% they look like fire gremlins.
And they have wings too, I think.
Do they? Do the little guys have wings?
On their backs. No, I don't even think that they like fly or anything like that. But
right, like little useless wings.
Yeah. It's like penguins have wings.
And as Miko pointed out to me before the episode that I didn't realize, there's 2 different variations of this monster on the same map.
Yep.
Fire imps are level 11, and they hit you real hard.
Yep.
Inferno imps are level 13, and they hit you even harder.
Yeah. And the only reason I think that the Inferno imps are called Inferno is because they carry the skill Inferno.
Right, because there's a skill called Inferno because Miko the Ranger uses this skill.
Yes, I do.
So
it's a good at your feet, I should say, AoE.
You're getting a taste of your own medicine this episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, my warriors were.
Right, yeah, you're chilling him back.
I was chilling him back.
You're chilling him back like, yeah, I'm armored against elemental damage. Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
like, don't stand him bad. Yeah.
So I ate a lot of damage from all sources of enemies as the primary tank for my group. So that was a lot of fun. I did go into... I don't remember what outpost I did this at, but I talked to Little Tom in the outpost.
Yeah, so did I.
And the first thing he says is, don't tell anybody you know me. I'm like, that's great. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I was looking for. And
I've got footage that I recorded that you might see of me talking to him, and I totally just like screen capped his dialogue because it made me laugh so much.
Yeah, it's great. Because like we're talking to him because we did that quest for Ferracapo about him being a deserter, and the first thing he opens up with is, don't tell anybody you've seen me.
I know.
That's excellent. I like this.
I know.
This is good.
Yeah. Then he's all, I've got a few unpaid debts, in quotes, like,
yeah.
If you know what I mean. And it's like, you can totally see that he's like, winking at you the whole time he's saying that.
Yeah, he's like he lives on the fringes of society. He's a bit of a lowlife himself.
Yeah.
Which it kind of makes sense why he's labeled as the brawler henchman.
Yeah.
So the very cool little Tom dialogue. I did not talk to any other henchmen.
I talked to Orion because I hadn't talked to him, and he's basically, not only does he say I'm famous, he's like, the chicks dig me, and the other elementalists, they want to be me. And I'm like, wow, okay, bro.
He's a bit of a rock star.
Oh yeah, and he is very full of himself. It's kind of hilarious.
Is anybody any NPCs circa Guild Wars 2 just like talking about Orion, the great elementalist?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think his legend lasted. I think he faded into obscurity.
Yeah.
He's accompanied me through all my great deeds, but his name did not make it into the annals of history.
Yeah.
So yeah, I encountered the fire imps. They suck. They almost one-shot Alicia every time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she's getting absolutely hammered.
She died several times on me.
Yeah, well, because we had to fight some high-level mobs in this episode.
Yes, surprisingly so. Well, I shouldn't say surprisingly, because if we learned anything from which one was it? It was one of the Northern Shiver Peak ones that we were like being thrown. And then when we got to Kryta, we were thrown against like level 18 enemies, and we were like, what? In the mission.
Yeah, and it doesn't let up.
No.
On your way to the Ascalon settlement to deliver these goods and all that, did you also run into the Tengu?
Yes.
And I don't know.
Tengu.
Yeah, so they're called Kuromi, which we, being scholars of Tyria, know is their tribe, right? Is their tribe of Tengu. We're gonna run into a few different Tengu tribes throughout the game, but this is the first one we come across, is the Kuromi Tengu. They're bird people.
Yep.
They got feathers. I don't know what the feathers are for. They don't fly. I mean, I guess dinosaurs had feathers though, and they didn't fly.
True.
So
But these look like actual proper birds.
Right? Yeah, they've got beaks.
Yeah, except that their wings are actual arms.
Except that they're people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they run around. They Naruto run everywhere.
Yes.
Like anime, anime characters. Yeah. They look like they're attacking Area 51. Let's see if anybody gets that reference. From an event that never happened, that's now faded into obscurity.
Yeah.
They have two types of Kuromi Tengu. There are warriors and rangers. I didn't see any others.
I think there are some mesmers.
Yeah, there might be. Yeah, I think you're right. And there is a field of about 50 of these guys.
They're freaking everywhere. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these freaking Tengu.
Yeah, between you and the Ascalonian settlement, and you have to kill pretty much all of them if you want to navigate this path successfully. There's like 3 bosses.
Yes.
Did you find the boss named Rar? There's a Tengu boss, he's a necro, named Rar Wildeye.
Wow, that's a great name.
Yeah, I know. Guild Wars 1 never stopped cranking out banger boss names. I don't know what happened with Guild Wars 2, because I can't remember the name of like a single boss in Guild Wars 2. But Guild Wars 1, we haven't even found the best ones yet, guys. Like, we're in for some bangers.
Yeah. So just
I mean, I've got another one coming later this episode, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I find a few every episode, and it's an oasis of goodness for me.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And then on our way, so we butcher our way past these Tengu. It's borderline like a war crime. But we need to get to we've got merchant supplies to deliver to Captain Greywind. We've got to get through the road.
And we got to make sure that the gang gets there intact.
Yeah. I did mention, so like as you're going through North Kryta province, and the surrounding, because we go into what's the neighboring area? Nebo Terrace? Mm-hmm. We go into Nebo?
Yeah. I always said, I think, Nebo.
Why is there so many ambiguous vowels in Guild Wars 1?
I don't know.
Why? I hate it. Nebo Terrace, and then we go over to Scoundrel's Rise, which we've already been to. Yes. So we adventure around a little bit. All the village buildings look like extremely primitive.
Yes.
Like something out of like the ancient Fertile Crescent.
Yes.
Like they look, they're BC era type buildings.
They got like they're like thatched roofs, but like wooden
with like mud. They're like mud brick.
Walls. Yeah. And like the Crichtons wear kind of, I don't want to call them loincloths, but they have like, it looks more tribal, their clothes. Short skirts or tunics.
Yeah, like cut off tunics.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a smock. That seems mean.
No. No.
But they definitely dress on the lighter side, right? They're on the simpler side, right? Just like simple bits of cloth, like white, beige, kind of yellowed cloth with like some tribal trimmings.
But we kind of got the impression in the last episode that, and also from like, Ambassador Zane and his strongbox full of gold that he's using to bribe people with, that the White Mantle and that Kryta is a prosperous nation. And yet we're out in like Kryta now, and we're encountering villages that don't look very prosperous.
Well, and so there's big colonizer energy here.
Oh yeah, big time, yes.
I mean, they're called the White Mantle, right? Like, oof.
Yeah.
And then there's the obvious like similarities between the native Crichton people and like a more indigenous population, right? And then all the White Mantle people, like they have their big armor and their more advanced armor, more advanced weapons, right? Right. There's some parallels going on here.
Yeah. For sure.
And all the buildings at the Ascalon settlement are kind of this similar style of Crichton village, where it's just like these brick, very like primitive style brick buildings with hay thatched roofs. And it doesn't look as advanced, even in like pre-Searing Ascalon is like a proper medieval city kind of. And then Kryta looks a lot more behind the times, and even the city of Lion's Arch, it doesn't look as shiny and pristine as pre-Searing Ascalon City did. It looks a bit weathered. It looks a lot older. It looks a lot more lived in. So there's just some differences in the cultures there that I think is really good. I'm not necessarily critical of the colonizer arc that the White Mantle are on, because the White Mantle are like we're working with them right now, but they're shaping up to be bad guys, right? If you're picking up on the undertones of the game. They're not great. Like if you're reading the dialogue and reading what characters think, you're seeing, okay, these guys are kind of culty. They're running a sort of theocracy with these shady gods, right? We're supposed to be suspicious of them. So it's not all fun and games with the White Mantle. But they're letting the Ascalon refugees stay in Kryta, so we're working with them, trying to make the best of a bad situation. And
when we get finally to the Ascalon settlement, is it Greywind who's like, they've let us stay here all the way out here?
He does, yeah. He mentioned, so when you get the supplies to Captain Greywind, you can ask him some questions. You can be like, hey, so what do you think of the settlement, bro?
Yeah.
And he's like, it kind of blows.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, they've settled this pretty far away from Lion's Arch. I don't want to get on the wrong side of the Lion Guard, which is why I didn't go and get this box of like medical supplies. Hey, by the way, thanks for bringing them.
Yeah, he was like, well, because what he says is, I thought that box of supplies that we paid real money for wasn't coming, and I was going to bring like a group of armed guards into the city to take it from the merchant by force.
Yeah.
He's like, I really didn't want to do that, but I was about to do that.
Yeah.
So Kryta's kind of shoved him into this little remote section with no protection and said, okay, live.
Pretty much.
And isn't really giving them much help. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're surrounded by like there are Etten out there, and the Tengu. There are like scales.
While we're on the hotbed political commentary, do you want to talk about what the Ettins are called?
Yeah.
So they've and this is a quotation from the game. This is what the Ettins are called in the game.
They're called Gypsy Ettins, and they're spelling it Gypsy like Gypsie. So essentially like what Gypsies plural would be, but they've left off the plural, the S of plural, so it's Gypsy Etten.
Yeah,
is what you run into, and I'm like, what? Okay.
It's a bizarre decision.
Yeah.
I have in my notes Gypsy Ettins. Yikes. Because it's like it's a derogatory term for people from certain parts of Europe, so we don't like it these days.
Or nomadic, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, ArenaNet, I don't know what you're doing with that one, but we're just going to call them Ettins for the remainder of the podcast.
And they're still the big, things with clubs, and they're basically just warriors.
They're level 15.
And they're level 15. So they've leveled up, but they still just try and hit you with warrior skulls.
They've leveled up, and Alicia very much has not.
Has not. And they still go after her first.
They do, yeah. She got clubbed to death several times.
So many times.
And their attack animations are vicious too. Like they raise that thing really high in the air and they just slam it down.
And they just slam it right down on her head. And
I'm
like, oh, she's dead again. Somebody please res her.
Like it is brutal looking when she dies to these Ettins because they just mob her and club her in a circle. You turn around and you just see the game tells you corpse of Alicia, and I'm like, dang it. Yeah, it's horrific. So Alicia having a very bad time with the Ettins in this game so far. Mm-hmm. Alicia is excited that the Temple of the Ages is in the area.
It's very near. Yes.
Yeah. She has a henchman blurb, a dialogue blurb, if you're going through Kryta with her, and she mentions that she's heard that the Temple of the Ages is in the area and she would like to go.
Yes.
So we'll take her there at some point because the Temple of the Ages is like an iconic location. Even though I don't think the story takes you there, I think it's very missable.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think we're going to have to find it on purpose because we're going to need it if we're going to do that Villainy of Galrath quest.
Yes, I will be heading that way.
God, we're biting off a lot more than we can chew for next episode. Oh, we got to do a mission. We got to do a bonus mission. We got to do Villainy of Galrath. Villainy of Galrath takes longer than any of the missions in this game.
It really does.
So we'll kind of listen, guys. We're gonna try. Okay?
I need that 4,000 XP, please.
Yeah, no, it's a fat XP drop. And I do actually want it because I'm feeling the level strain.
Yep.
So on your way into the Ascalonian settlement,
yes.
Did you notice Farmer Dirk?
I did. I first noticed the prize-winning hog.
Yeah, you
hanging out, and I'm like, hey.
You see the hog first,
piggy.
And I was like, can I pre-complete this quest and just grab the hog now?
I know. You can't. Can I chase it? No.
Yeah,
no.
You can't. Is this the worst quest in the game so far?
Ever. Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Because Farmer Dirk has lost his prize-winning hog that you run past with the gang, and does not want to go get him because he says, "No, there are Ettins, and I'm gonna stay here. Can you go get it for me?"
And so you run down to the prize-winning hog, and then the Ettins start spawning.
Yes.
And there's like 3 or 4 like spawns of these things
Waves
that run
them.
at you. Yeah. And it got to the point where I was sitting there killing them. Like, does this end?
They never end.
I was like, am I supposed to push the pig towards him while fending off Ettins?
Yeah.
But they do end eventually.
They do.
And then you have to engage with the terrible, terrible, terrible mini game of shepherding the pig.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I had to go up behind him and try to kick him in the back of his heels.
Like pelvic thrust him towards
like come on, kick him in the knees. Like, come on, piggy, go.
Yeah,
and sometimes he would run off quick, and sometimes he would get stuck on a cart that's overturned on the side of the road, or get stuck up on the wall of the mountain. And I'm like, come on, please, just move.
For me, he would just start turning and run into the wall, and then I'd run past him, and then he'd start running back, and I had to go back. Oh my! This is the worst thing in the game. I did manage to complete it eventually, but it took way longer than it had any right to. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Fuck that prize-winning hog. I hope he doesn't win his prize. Actually, after all the energy I put into it, he better win his prize. And he better give me a fucking cut.
Right.
We return that pig back to Farmer Dirk. May he burn in the eternal fires of torment. May the shadows take him. Right.
You just want some bacon.
I'm considering keeping the prize-winning hog for myself.
Yeah, there you go.
I never want to talk to Farmer Dirk again. But Captain Greywind has some quests we can do for him regarding the Ascalon settlement. Mm-hmm. I think he needs some blankets.
Yes, he wants blankets for the settlers.
Not a super interesting quest.
No, but he's basically trying to establish trade for the benefit of the village.
Our good relationship with Nebo Village over to the west.
you know, I mean, who can blame him? It's not like he's getting any help from the White Mantle or the Lion Guard, so he's essentially got to fend for himself.
He can't exactly trade with the Ettins. All they have are clubs.
No. Yes. So he sends us off to Nebo Village, and he wants to trade for some blankets, so he's going to send them weapons.
Did you look at what you actually end up trading in this quest? You trade one, so you get in your inventory, you get one weapon.
Yes.
And you trade it for one blanket. You trade settlement weapon for settlement blankets.
Yeah. I guess the implication is they're supposed to be plural, but we're just gonna, give you the icon of one. Like they could have given us a chest.
Yeah, they were in. I just like the item names because the items are named like settlement weapon and settlement blanket. So we did a lot of legwork for a blanket. I hope someone is very warm tonight.
They better be, yes.
I did this quest at the same time as the Jaiju Tai quest.
So did I.
Because I'm an efficient gamer.
Yes.
I didn't want to run all the way back there and all the way back to Greywind 2 times.
Right.
There is a quest you can take in Nebo Village from the inspector there. It's a murder mystery quest at a place called Bergen Hot Springs, and neither of us have done it.
Nope.
We'll do it if we have time. But we're getting next episode is getting pretty strapped.
Our quest log is getting long.
It is, yeah. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. It sounds interesting, though. It sounds like an interesting quest.
We can do it, especially if we're going to plan on going out to Temple of Ages, because we're going to have to go through Bergen Hot Springs.
That's true. Like, how long of a play session would you say you had for this content for this episode?
Probably 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I'd say like 2.5 for me. So we got like through quite a bit here into it. Like all these North Kryta province quests probably took me an hour.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we played for a very long time, but all this stuff happened. Like we're talking about it longer than it actually took to do.
Yeah.
So this stuff we kind of, because you can do a lot of it at the same time. So we banged a lot of it out pretty quick. I think the worst quest was Greywind's other quest, which was
reversing the scales.
First of all, yeah, I get the imagery of the name, like the balance of a scale, like on each side, right?
Yes.
I don't like the name of the quest. It doesn't sound right in the mouth. It's bad.
You just don't like fighting the bog scales.
Oh my god, I think bog scales are my least favorite enemy out of like the Kryta enemies so far. They're a nightmare. They hit you so hard with armor ignoring damage that's area of effect.
Yeah.
My warrior armor is useless.
Yeah.
And they slow down my attack because they're necromancers, and they give you health degeneration. Mm-hmm. And they come in groups of like 9.
Yeah.
They're a nightmare.
Yeah.
I hate them.
You have to kind of pull them if you can.
There's hordes of them.
Yeah, there are, and when you're running out to complete this quest, you've got to go along the beach, and there's just like a big ass group of them, because what's happening is that the scales, the bog scales, are being driven out of their swamp by some sort of, what Greywind says, it's a necromantic force, driving out the undead, driving the undead, and the scales are coming and essentially escaping from the undead, and he wants you to go and figure out like what is actually the force that's driving them out. And I'm like, okay.
I do like the simplicity of the quest, because what the quest implies is Greywind has a theory about what may be going on, and we find out doing the quest that he's like exactly correct.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really, like the likelihood of him being able to be like, oh, there's scale showing up. It must be from an undead lord in a swamp. That's crazy, right? But he's right, because that's how the quest has to go.
He's paying attention. That is why he is a captain.
And then
that's how I'm gonna, look at it.
Right, it's not his first rodeo with undead driving scales towards the city.
No, he is more useful than the Lion Guards.
He's like, I remember the horde of level 0 scale that plagued pre-searing Ascalon.
Yes.
I'm like, I do too, brother man.
Undead that we had to wade through in order to get to Lion's Arch.
Yeah. So we have to go take them out. What my favorite part of this quest is the NPC that's standing inside of Scoundrel's Rise. that just tells us the quest dialogue all over again. With
Settlement Scout Drew, and I was like, he's such a wimp. He's like, I'm just a scout. Fighting's not my thing. And I was like, bro, why are you out here? And also, he's like level 2.
And
like, how did you get there?
So the enemies we're fighting for this quest are level 18, and the boss is level what? 21.
21.
Is this our first over level 20 enemy?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. So in this game, the max level of the player is 20. Enemies can get up to 33, I think is the highest level enemy in the game.
It's not a good time.
I think Shiro is level 33, and a few other enemies are level 33.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, we have a level 21 boss in this. But what I loved about and I don't know if I wrote the scout's name down.
Settlement Scout Drew. I wrote it down.
Drew. His name is Drew.
His name is Drew.
That's so funny.
Freaking level 2 wuss. What are you doing out here?
Yeah, what I thought was so funny about it is that Captain Greywind basically says, hey, I think there's a powerful undead at the swamp driving the scale out. And then we talk to Scout Drew, and he's like, hey, there's a powerful undead in the swamp driving the scale out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know.
It's the captain already told us. Thanks, Scout.
He's got like 3 paragraphs of very tiny text dialogue to tell us nothing new at all.
Yeah, and he's like, can you go get him? Because I'm gonna shit my pants if I have to stay here any longer.
Yeah, he's
inside the portal, and you're like, bro, what are you doing here? I like literally ran past him, and then I realized that my little quest marker was behind me, and I was like, wait, what?
I did the exact same thing, and I started to get very frustrated because I thought it wanted me to go back through the portal.
I know, I thought the same.
I was like,
what?
I was like, but Scoundrel's Rise is green. But the star is on the portal. Yeah, it took me a minute. I had to run back there and figure it out.
Yep.
I do like that after such boss names as Nazim the Damned, and there was another one that I thought was really cool. There's a cool ghoul name last episode. This guy's name is Lord Timmet.
Yep.
A little underwhelming, Lord Timmet.
A little underwhelming.
He looks cool though. He's a giant necrid horseman.
Necrid horseman, yep.
Yeah, and he's got some new enemy types that we haven't seen yet with him. Yeah. He's got executioners.
Executioners. And dude, did the executioners remind you of anything?
They reminded me of the trolls from Lord of the Rings, the ones in Return of the King that are with the orcs.
Okay. Well, you went Lord of the Rings. I went straight up Guild Wars 2.
What do they remind you of in Guild Wars 2?
Norn warriors.
Yeah, no, they're very they're about the same size.
They're it's like the same model.
They might have ripped that model off.
Yeah. Like I think their armor is actually even like Norn armor.
It might be, yeah. They might be Norn precursors, like as far as the model goes. But I was thinking the trolls in Lord of the Rings: Return of the King that attack Minas Tirith. They've got like the same coloration, the same helmet, like even those axe hammer things that the executioners have. Go watch Return of the King. Look at the hammer that the troll is using to bash down the inner gate. It's the exact same fucking weapon.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna have to put a picture of the executioner on the screen.
I'm gonna have to compare the Norns, the executioners, and the Lord of the Rings Return of the King trolls. We'll have a little comparison here, guys, and you can see for yourselves. Let me know in the comments what you think. Sorry. That bit is now over. Their big axe hammer things look cool though.
Yep.
I think it's interesting that they're called executioners because an executioner would have an axe, but they're very clearly blunt hammers that they have. Which would imply that in Ore, people were executed with very large hammers and not axes. I'd like to think in Ore, they just smash your head to a pancake instead of chopping it off. Mm-hmm. That's an Orion execution.
Yeah, but they were what, level 18?
Yeah, they're level 18, and they smacked the crap out of Alicia.
Yes, they did. I was like, why am I being sent on this quest with level 10 henchmen?
Why are these enemies this level at all?
I know.
At this stage of the game.
I know.
And yet we were able to complete it with level 10 henchmen.
Yeah. I backed up really quickly, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to pew-pew from far away because,
Well,
Yeah,
and
it's
did
not
you
annual.
notice that if you start fighting the executioners, even if Lord Timmett is out of your aggro range, he will come over and join the
Oh,
fight?
yeah. He did that to me, and I was like, oh, great.
That's not
Um,
super, like, if he's, it didn't seem like he was part of their group because he not walked over, like, slowly. I
yeah.
don't know. It was weird. It
Yeah.
didn't seem like normal aggro mechanics.
No, I don't know. He came at us.
Yeah.
And I had Stefan and little Tom, and I was like, good luck, boys.
Yeah, it was
from back here.
me, Stefan, and little Tom all went for it, and
Weird again.
I believe Alicia did die in this fight.
I can't believe you triple worried again.
Oh, I triple warrior this whole episode.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I love the triple warrior because the other options are Dunham or Claude.
Yeah,
And
I've been taking Dunham, but not Claude.
You know, Dunham's probably the better. Dunham is probably the better option because there's a lot of spellcasters in War.
Yes.
Like, it was almost all warriors in the Shiver Peaks, so I needed like the extra beef, right? Like one more beefcake in my party.
Yeah.
But with all the magic users, it's probably better to take the Mesmer since they're like anti-magic spellcasters. Right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try out Dunham. Give him another try.
Okay.
But yeah, we successfully reversed the scale.
The scales, yeah.
Yeah, and we come back to Greywind and we let him know, and he's kind of just like, thank you.
Cool. Thanks, yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you for killing that level 21 undead Dreadlord.
Yeah.
And now we've arrived at the point in the podcast where we have 14 minutes to discuss the entire mission.
Okay.
So we talked to the podium guy at Delesio Seaboard.
Mantle Knight Karya.
Yeah, our primary quest was from Armin the Guide in... Armin the Guide is such a funny name.
It is, yeah.
Hi, I'm the guide. And he had us go register with the White Mantle Garrison in Delesio Seaboard. This is when I also turned in the bandit quest.
Yep.
We're kind of jumping around the timeline here.
Yeah.
So the podium guy, he has a lot of information about Ore.
Mm-hmm.
He basically kind of gives cohesion to the timeline. So we learn all this from Korea. The Scepter of Ore is an Orion artifact that was possessed by a guy named King Reza, who is the last king of Ore. The last king of Ore. And you can talk to King Reza's ghost in Guild Wars 2. In several different spots, I think. I think in the dungeon in Ore and in the explorable area and in the Living World Season 3 map.
Yep.
I believe he's a fucking heart vendor in the Living World Season 3 map.
Living World Season 3 map?
Yeah, I think he's one of the heart vendors. Call me crazy. I believe King Reza's ghost is a heart vendor in Guild Wars 2.
Okay, I'm going to have to look it up because I don't remember meeting him in Living World Season 3 and I thought I'd done
in Siren's Landing.
Oh, Siren's Landing.
Yeah, you forgot all about Siren's Landing. I understand it's very forgettable.
Yes. No, there are reasons. Okay, anyways, we'll get to that later.
We will, yeah. But we learn basically that when the searing happened at the end of the Third Guild War, at the beginning of the game Guild Wars 1, that was a catalyst event to the Char basically bulldozing through Ascalon and invading Kryta and Ore. So Ascalon was kind of the bastion against the Char. And once they enacted the searing, they could attack Kryta and Ore. When the Char got to Ore, something happened. We don't really know what, and the entire nation collapsed into the ocean. Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's worse than the searing.
The entire nation exploded in a flash of blinding light, is what he tells us.
Yeah, and now it's just gone. Like, at least Ascalon is still kind of there. Ore is just gone. And as far as Kryta goes, the Char were invading Kryta. They were poised to, like, overthrow everything. And who steps up but a dude named Saul Delesio with the White Mantle and their unseen gods at his back and completely wipes out the Char invasion force.
Yeah.
So basically the reason this game starts out with the searing, because we were talking about last episode how all the events with Prince Rurik and stuff like that in Ascalon don't seem super related to the plot that gets introduced. But it really is, because the searing is the catalyst event that causes all of this, right?
Yeah.
Without the searing, we wouldn't have ore collapsed into the ocean and all these undead rising up in Kryta. We wouldn't have the White Mantle in charge of Kryta at all, right? So the reason that the game starts that way is to provide you with the context for the state of the world, which is kind of cool.
And Karya does tell us that that there's competing thoughts on what happened to Ore.
I loved this. I love this dialogue. Yeah, tell me about it.
He's like some say it was the vengeful wrath of the old gods. And then he's all, these days, though, only fools believe in the powers of Grenth, Balthazar, and the rest of the false pantheon. The more rational thinkers among the White Mantle believe the Cataclysm, which is what this event was called, was the work of foul black magic, dragged from the forbidden tombs deep below the streets of Ara. And Ara is the capital of Ore.
And what I love about this is what we learned in Guild Wars 2 is that they're right.
Yeah.
And ArenaNet, like, that dialogue, because that dialogue was a thing in 2005, I'm pretty sure. And ArenaNet stuck to that dialogue when they crafted all the Ore story and background in Guild Wars 2. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it was a good payoff there.
Yeah, and we'll learn more about that when we play Guild Wars 2. We'll learn more about it a little later in Prophecies.
Yep.
And he also mentions that because you can ask him, what do you know about the Scepter of Ore, right? Because that's kind of our plot MacGuffin device right now.
Yeah.
And he says it's a staff that commands, quote, creatures from the underworld. Mm-hmm. And that's why the undead are after it, because it's good for commanding undead, right?
Yep.
Which implies that the undead have some sort of leader, right? Which we know to be the Undead Lich, but I don't know how much the White Mantle knows about the Undead Lich.
Right.
I don't know if they know about him at all.
Right.
But it seems like the White Mantle has this idea that the undead have a leader that would like to possess the staff for command reasons, right?
Right. So they want it for themselves instead.
Yeah. And there's a did he say anything else that stood out to you before you jumped into the mission?
No, that was all that I got, I think.
Yeah, that was all. I think we both wrote down the same bullet points, because that's all I had too. Did you notice anything interesting about who we meet at the beginning of the mission?
Just to see our Isaiah?
Yeah. Does that name ring any bells?
No.
Oh. So way later down the line, there's a Guild Wars Beyond thing, which is kind of the Guild Wars 1 version of Living World, called War in Kryta.
Yeah, And I remember War in Kryta.
During War in Kryta, the leader of the White Mantle is a guy named Confessor Isaiah.
Oh, right, okay.
And I'm like, is this little Isaiah?
It is.
I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
It could be, right? Same name, but it could also be a random NPC that they completely forgot about, and they just named Confessor Isaiah that for no reason. So I don't know. Cool. Maybe I should wiki it and get back to you next episode. Will I or will I not?
I have wikied it.
Is it him?
It is him.
Hell yeah, brother!
Yeah.
I noticed. Hey, ArenaNet. I noticed. Yeah. That's super cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Likely named after an old ArenaNet dev.
Isaiah Cartwright, who I have met in person.
You have
at PAX.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he had a lot of interesting things to say about the game.
Mm-hmm.
So we I don't think he even really has anything to say in the mission, just to see Isaiah. I think he's just kind of hanging out with a bow.
He actually tells you to follow him.
Oh, okay.
And then says the undead are marching towards the Temple of Tolerance, and then thinks that they're moving towards... He's the one who tells you that they're moving towards the village of Hakewood. And then he's like, I'm going to go get more Mantle Knights before he takes off, and says, you go on ahead and warn
right.
the Confessor.
And I love the name of the Temple of Tolerance, because it just, like, when you have a totalitarian regime, right, they always try to frame it in a way that makes it sound like they're the good guys. And the Temple of Tolerance is one of those names that, like, it's something the Nazis would name something, right?
Yeah. It's a good way to deflect.
Yeah, exactly, because it's the Temple of Tolerance, but it's like, you better not talk about those old 5 gods who are going to throw you on the fucking fire. Right.
Yeah.
So they're tolerant of everything that is White Mantle related, but God forbid you have other opinions.
Right.
So the very ironically named Temple of Tolerance is where we're heading to meet. I think we've gotten the name Confessor Dorian, right? They said it last episode.
Yes.
So that's who we're on our way to meet. And the guy who has the Scepter of Ore has fled in that direction as well. So we're all trying to kind of converge with the Scepter, keep it safe from the undead. And we got to go pass through the village of Hakewood.
Hakewood, yep.
And did you meet Benji?
I did eventually meet Benji McCullough, yes.
Did he die for you the first time?
He died. He done did dead.
It was touch and go there with me for a while. Like, I'd read up, I always skim the wiki for the mission because I know how finicky the bonuses are in this game.
Yeah.
So I always check, like, okay, what's a general idea of how I do the bonus? And the wiki says to just charge towards Benji as soon as he... And he can still die even if you go straight for him.
Well, and I was like, well, where is he? I couldn't find it. So I'm looking at, like, the wiki map, and it says that he's at point 2, and I'm like, well, I think I'm already at point 2. Wait, there's his corpse. Never mind.
Well, because the enemy who's fighting him is like a melee. Was it a melee user for you? I think it's an executioner, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a
the
boss.
first time that because I did run this mission twice. Because I wanted the bonus.
Right.
And the first time he was being wailed on by an executioner boss.
Yeah, and I very narrowly saved him. And I think the way I was able to save him was, I mentioned the skill Crude Swing earlier.
Yeah.
This skill does, it inflicts weakness on an enemy.
Oh.
And weakness makes you do less damage.
Yes, it does.
And I think that's what made the difference, because Benji got down to like maybe 5 HP.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, before I was able to kill this thing. So it was real close. But I managed to squick it out and not have to redo the mission.
Well, there you go. Good job.
Yeah, so saved Benji. He wants us to deliver an offering to the Shrine of Melandru, because they still keep the old gods in Hakewood.
Yes, they do.
Melandru being the nature goddess, the ranger god, Miko's god. Yep. And so Miko just couldn't wait to deliver this gift of Melandru. Like, you couldn't not do this bonus.
Right.
So yeah, what I did is I cleared the mission first, and then I went back and grabbed the pot and ran it to the location for free. Yeah. It takes a really long time to do it that way, but it guarantees you a bonus completion.
A win, yes.
Yeah, and I would much rather do that than do the mission over again.
Yeah. Well, I had to because Benji died, so I had to go and...
Right, yeah. When you actually did the bonus, did you drop the jar?
Yes. I dropped the jar because I was like, wait, I've got a bow that gives me more health. Let me just equip it. And as soon as I did that, I dropped the jar, and I was like, damn it. I'll have to go and get another one.
Yeah.
And then I did it again, the same thing, and I was like, well, I've got my skills back. I can at least fight and get some XP.
And that...
my pet wasn't doing a damn thing while I was holding the jar, even though I put him on attack mode and was hitting his, like, pet skill, and little old Amnesia had forgotten how to fight because I wasn't going pew-pew with my bow.
Yeah, no, if you're not fighting, he's not fighting. Like, this is a team. No. This is a team effort.
It's a team effort.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, what you doing? You got any treats for me? What you got in that urn that you're holding?
Yeah, no, he's curious. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So, and we are trolled by the tiniest bridge in this bonus mission. Mm-hmm. Like, if you pick up the Melandru offering, the place you need to go is about 15 feet away.
Literally across a bridge. And the bridge is out. The
bridge is out. Yeah, it's like a rope bridge, like a Pirates of the Caribbean, like an Indiana Jones rope bridge, and it is broken. Yep. So we have to walk about 15 miles around.
Yes, we have to go the long way around.
Yeah, we have to go through the whole mission, basically, and complete the bonus at the end.
Yep.
So if you were in, like, a party of players, you might, like, assign your most useless person to carry this thing if you didn't want to go back for it. You make the monk do it. They can heal on less energy. It's fine.
Yeah.
So we basically have to do the mission and then finish the bonus. The next kind of area after the village of Hakewood of interest is the actual temple itself. We kind of just fight undead until we get to the temple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the village of Hakewood, it is being overrun by undead, and there are like a fuck ton of them.
And Hakewood's pretty big. I feel like it's like the first like proper village. Like Nebo Village, not a real village. There's like 3 buildings. Hakewood, like lots of dwellings. Like there's like a town square.
Back gate. Yeah, they've got a back gate that like has more buildings back there as well.
Yeah, they got like 2 gates in Hakewood.
Yeah.
That's more gates than Lion's Arch.
Mm-hmm.
Hakewood is the true capital of Kryda.
That's it. You know, and it's funny that you mentioned the Temple of Tolerance and how it's, you know, the White Mantle seem very intolerant. And here it is, Hakewood being overrun by undead, and ain't nobody out there helping.
Yeah, I think the White Mantle are like, there's some White Mantle gate guards that are like just guarding the gate while Hakewood is being
stand here.
Is being overrun.
Look at the undead killing the Crichton worshippers of the 5 gods.
Yeah, the villagers are like being slaughtered, and the White Mantle are like, gotta guard the gate.
Yeah. One of the villagers cries out, "Help me, O Dwayna, please help me."
Yeah, see, you can't say that. Yeah, at that point, the White Mantle are going to join the undead in slaughtering the villagers.
Yeah. Well, and ironically, right, because Benji's brother is a White Mantle guard.
When did we learn that?
He tells us.
Did Benji have extra dialogue that I didn't see?
Mm-hmm. You would make a good White Mantle guard, just like my brother.
I didn't hear that. Wow. So Benji, I'm confused. Is he like? Does he keep the old gods, or does he like the mantle, the White Mantle?
I think he keeps the old guard. He keeps the old gods, but I think, you know, it's like, who's the reigning power in town?
Right.
How do you keep from?
Right. He's just like, you're real good at killing undead. You'd be a great White Mantle knight. Not reading too much into it.
Right.
I remember the Temple of Tolerance fight being really hard from when I first played this game. It's absurdly easy.
Yep.
Dorian, Confessor, we meet Confessor Dorian at the Temple of Tolerance, and he's like, hey, we're under attack, fight the undead with me, and then we can talk.
And the irony is that the game says, then your quest objective updates, and it says, talk to Confessor Dorian, and talk about the undead situation. And
right, it's spoiler alert, it's pretty dire.
Yeah, he's like, can't talk now. We have to fight. Now's the time to fight. And I'm like, okay. Yeah,
and so Dorian is a level 20 monk. As long as you stay near him, you cannot die.
I mean, and he's standing in a shrine of, what is it? Shrine of Mending?
Yeah. So you get 3 health regen while you're in it.
Why does he need us?
We got extra White Mantle soldiers just for shits and giggles. Like, it's very easy as long as you stay near Dorian. I think why I used to die on this as a wee lad is because I'd run out by myself.
Go after them, and then Dorian would come with.
Because I'd get impatient. Yeah. If you just stay at the Shrine of Mending, you're unkillable, and it just takes forever.
Yeah.
There's like 10 waves of these guys.
I know. Yeah, I camped the Shrine of Mending, and I also brought Ward Against Elements. And I was like, all right.
Ward spells are great for this fight because you're camping in that circular location anyway.
So I was like, well, I'm just gonna hit this first, let it deplete me of my energy because it costs 15 energy. That's the only reason why I brought it, was to protect Dorian.
But you know what you can do with it? You can cast it while you hold that fucking jar.
Yeah. Yep.
Just become a warder. I used to make
that, and that was all I was doing because my pet wasn't doing anything either. So
in the original, like when I used to play this game before, I used to outfit one of my heroes as a warder, and all my friends thought I was a nerd because there's like warder wasn't a build that you like set your heroes up with, but I was like, I like my warder. It's cool, okay?
And also useful.
Yeah, good support build
for this for this mission. You know what I brought? I brought a cleansing signet.
Oh, like a condition.
The poison. Yeah. To remove poison and injuries.
Oh, okay. So it's like a condition cleanse.
Yep.
Is that antidote signet?
Mm-hmm. Antidote signet. Yes.
It's a good skill.
Yeah, I'm glad I picked it up back in like pre-searing, not pre-searing, but like back in old Ascalon. I think when I picked that skill up, I'm like, that'll be useful at some point.
Yeah, signet's no energy cost, and I think
it's great. I
think quick recharge on antidote signet too.
Yep. So I was 10 out of 10 on,
support ranger.
Head. I was very much a support ranger holding the urn.
I think you were the first druid.
Yeah, there you go.
I think you made the druid class before it came to the Guild Wars franchise.
Ironic, because in Guild Wars 2, Miko is a druid right now.
Of course, yeah. Because druid's one of the best support classes in Guild Wars 2. Before you guys jump on me in the comments, I don't follow the Guild Wars 2 meta. I have no idea what's meta right now for support. Yeah. It's probably not druid. I don't know. Maybe it is.
But it used to be, so there you go.
Yeah, something like that. Once upon a raid.
Once upon a raid, it was a good class. Anyways, that is neither here nor there. But yes, so I brought Condi Cleanse, and I brought a ward skill, and I planned ahead. I
just brought my hammer and I hit stuff.
There you go. That works.
Did you notice the big purple pylons at the Temple of Tolerance?
Yeah.
We use... I don't think I've ever played a game with the most applicable uses of the word pylon.
Yeah.
We're like... Maybe 4 out of 6 episodes feature a pylon of some sort.
Yeah.
There's big purple pylons, and they're never explained, and we don't know what they are yet in terms of the story. They'll come up again, and we will learn what's going on with them. But yeah, we show up to the temple, and it's got like the old Lion's Arch architecture, right? With like the yellowing stone and the moss and all that. And there's these very clearly foreign objects just sticking up out of the ground. Very bizarre looking. But they're there, and nobody says anything about them.
Nope.
So after we complete the fight at the temple, we talk to Dorian, and what does Dorian have to say?
My cohort, Dinas,
I think. I think they say it. Yeah, I think it's Dinas.
Yeah. Has the Scepter of War. And has gone away. Please go get him. Tell him to come back.
Yeah. How weird. The weirdest thing about this cutscene, though, is how deep Dorian's frown is.
Yeah.
This dude is the world heavyweight champion of frowning.
The man is unhappy.
It looks painful.
He's just been fighting undead. Waves of them. So basically Dinas went and took the scepter so that the undead wouldn't get it. But now he's like, go and get him.
And Dorian is not happy about it, judging by the look on his face.
Nope. I'm kind of wondering if Dinas acted of his own accord or was following orders.
Right, yeah, because you'd think if we had the Scepter of War here, we could command the undead to leave us alone.
Right.
I don't know what the requirements for using the Scepter of War are. You'd have to ask Livia. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we haven't met her yet.
No. We'll meet her again in Guild Wars 1 and in Guild Wars 2, and it's all about the Scepter of War, and it's fun. Anyway, we gotta go track down Dinas. He's not that far away. He's just kind of in a little hamlet. Yes. I don't remember if this hamlet has a name.
No, I don't.
But we go to a collection of shoddy village houses, and he's hanging out.
He's essentially like just hanging out by the side of a house, and he's just like hiding against a fence.
He's like leaning on the Scepter of War.
Yeah.
He's like, just chilling out here with one of the most powerful artifacts in Tyrian history. And we basically we get there, we ask him to go back. He's down, and I noted that the player, at least for the male player, I don't know about the female, but the male player voiceover is the worst it's been yet in the game.
Why would happen?
We just start talking, and we're just like, Dinas, do you have the Scepter of War? It's so bad. And then like Dinas's voice acting is fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. He sounds like a 2005 video game NPC.
Yeah, he's like, no, we can't.
Yeah, the player character just sounds like It's you ever watch a movie and the performance of one of the actors is so bad that it like takes you out of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The player voice acting in Guild Wars 1 is just it's doing a number on my sanity.
You know what cracked me up though is that at least the female voice actor says, you know, when Dina's is like, no, we can't go back. It's swarming with undead. the female NPC is like, that's already been taken care of. And it sounds like such a badass, like, you know, come on, I'm here. What did you expect was going to happen? That they're going to be still alive? No. It's taken care of. Let's just go.
Yeah, the male voiceover is more like, that's already been taken care of.
How funny.
It's so bad.
No, the female one is very, like, cocky. It's pretty hilarious.
Well, it's good that you get to enjoy some fun voice acting, because I gotta slog through the horror that is the male voice acting. But that is the end of the mission. We run the Scepter of Ore back to Dorian, and we get knighted.
We do.
So we have joined the White Mantle, whether we wanted to or not.
I know.
If it was up to me, I wouldn't go anywhere near these motherfuckers.
No.
But the story...
But Dorian is, like, super impressed with us.
Yeah, the story railroads us into getting knighted as a knight of the White Mantle.
And, you know, kind of the thing, too, is, like, when we start talking to Dorian, before we go off to find Dinas, or Dinas, Dorian is like, hey, I know who you are. I've heard about you.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're kind of a big deal.
Oh, we're a known quantity. If you talk
but you know, like back when we first started and we were level 0 and had no skills or a weapon, and we were kind of a big deal. But now we actually are kind of a big deal.
Except we're not actually kind of a big deal, because we do not actually have the kind of a big deal title.
No.
That is the first tier of Guam.
Yeah. But it's just, you know, we have become that MMO RPG player character that is becoming well known.
We're the commander.
We are the commander.
We've become the commander. Yeah. There's a name for the Guild Wars 1 protagonist in Guild Wars 2, but I don't remember what they refer to them as. Maybe they just refer to them as like an ancient hero or something.
I think that is what they're called.
In the context of prophecies, we've become the Flame Seeker.
Yeah.
Except I don't think the Flame Seeker refers to the player character.
I don't think so either.
No, I think it's something to do with Glint or something.
Yeah.
Listen, I need to replay this game because I don't know this. I don't remember the story.
Yeah.
I know like the general overarching thing, but I don't know some of the details. So I need to. I can't wait to keep playing.
There you go.
But that's where we're leaving
a podcast. So
yeah, bingo. Like who'd think it? So that's where we leave off the story. Is we spawn at an outpost called Divinity Coast, which is another mission outpost. And guess what level the henchmen are?
12.
They are level 12. Thank fucking Christ. We've got leveled up henchmen, guys. It's pop a beer open. We can celebrate.
Yeah.
So next episode we get to enjoy doing some content with some higher level henchmen, so that's going to make me very happy. We'll definitely do Divinity Coast. We'll try to do Villainy of Galrath and some Bergen Hot Springs murders. We may or may not do a Kryta Part 4 for the bonus mission pack. We'll see. It might be next episode, or it might be episode 8. So we'll decide that in between and update you guys next episode. This episode will be going live on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts on April 1st. It is not an April Fool's joke. It is just a normal episode. We are not funny. We don't do April Fool's jokes.
I think we are kind of funny, but no, we're not going to do a joke.
I'm glad one of us is confident. One of us needs to be confident. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave it for today. So... Yep. Miko, where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
On the World Wide Web, on the internets, you can find me at Inky Sticks everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and yep.
And for Perfect. And for me, all I ask is that you follow Tyria now on everything: Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow the Twitch just in case we decide to stream something. Yeah. We've got some plans for Underworld and Fisher of Woe down the line that might end up being a stream. I don't know. So follow the Twitch channel, guys. Just go do it. Yeah. You never know. It could be like a little present, right? It just materializes in your Twitch feed. You'll be sitting down to watch your usual schlock, and you'll see that A Ron and Miko are live with Guild Wars 1, and you already know how you're going to be spending your evening at that point. Yeah. So we will see everybody on the next episode, episode 7, for more Kryta. Kryta then, Kryta now, Kryta in the future. So until next time, guys, we will see you all later. Goodbye.
Bye.